to the match. Check in on Riley Hicks, Teamer Adventures, and Julian Felix Fleury's 4-color ramp.
Starting off 5-0, I will say that both these players, I think, have a reasonable chance to make top 8, even with a loss here and a loss next round. However, the way the tiebreakers are going to go and how close we are to having 8 rounds, there's a very good chance that there are very few 5-2s that make it. So this is a pretty important match because the winner of this should be locked for our top 8 in our elimination rounds, one step closer to qualifying for tomorrow's big event.
Pretty cleanly a win and in, but not a lose and out.
Right.
Good spot for these players to be in. You see Hicks on the play here. Ketria Triumph into Island, leaving up a Bone Crusher Giant. Would love the opportunity to stomp a Lotus Cobra, and here it is. Boom, get it out of there.
Yeah, I mean, Bone Crusher Giant, I think, gained a lot of stock with the reprinting of Lotus Cobra because Bone Crusher generally good against aggressive decks. Did you see the Shadow? Did you see the big Bone Crusher Giant Shadow?
I've seen the Shadow, man.
Oh, okay.
You see the face? Did you see the face?
Look, that's different. Okay, that one is so big and in your face, and the Bone Crusher Giant is so subtle.
That's true. Which of these cards do you think I've cast more of?
Yeah, Bone Crusher Giant.
I gotta say, Bone Crusher Giant, when you're actually consistently getting value off of Stomp, is such an amazing card.
Sure.
And we saw that in our main features this round. We saw Stomp kill the creature, and then Bone Crusher Giant just hang out, threatening to trade with Questing Beast. You know, it's actually just 2 values worth of card. Right. That's hard to come by in red.
No, I completely agree. Like, Bone Crusher Giant has made huge waves in Pioneer, and it has made some sideboard configurations after in Modern. I know that when it was first printed, I want to say it's the prowess guy who always plays Runaway Steamkin, and we called in the booth last year at one point. I forget who it was exactly. Anyway, but I remember they had 4 Bone Crusher Giant in their sideboard, and I thought that was super cool. And you hated it because they had Runaway Steamkin.
Yeah, the Steamkin kids are all.
But it won very easily.
Yeah, I believe that.
It won very easily.
Lotus Cobra, Omnath, and Uro. That's a pretty good turn for Flurry. A flurry
Collins
of spells.
That's who it was. Collins Mullins. Figured it out.
All right, now I don't feel bad. Now that I know it's Collins, I can make fun of him.
Okay. How you feel about letting a Uro untap ever? Is this good?
I don't like having this Cobra or this Omnath hang around, but the borrower is not the best point of interaction against this stuff.
So you telling me that the moment Brazen Borrower bounces the Omnath, they could just recast it and then do it again?
Get to draw 1 card.
Yeah. This seems like a clean borrower bounce here, specifically with the wilds on the stack, because it prevents one of the triggers from the Omnath, but this is not a clean answer. Like, it's just going to slow them down slightly, and I don't even know that it's going to do much as far as like stifling development on your opponent's turn this turn.
So there goes the wilds. Petty Theft gonna attempt to bounce Omnath. Gets disputed to the extent that Flurry even cared. Here comes a Lotus Cobra mana and 4 life. We're still waiting on a land drop for the turn. Here it is, 4 mana and a 5th off the Cobra.
I hate it. There's so much mana floating, and we are not that far into this game. And there were 2 pieces of interaction. There were 3 pieces of interaction.
I'm just kind of looking at the way Hicks last turn played, and there was just like no 5th mana to cast Escape to the Wilds.
Yep.
And then I'm looking at how much mana Flurry has and how much bonus mana has been generated.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly kind of overwhelmed with a deep sadness that I can't describe.
Yeah. It's like, you ever seen a bird get winged? It feels like that. Feels like that.
That sounds very sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you get it? Like
6 points come across. One good thing happening is these creatures at least deal lethal damage.
Here it is. Escape to the Wilds. Every card, you know. It's gonna get them back in it. We're on the way. We're on our way, Morty. We're just on the way.
Ugin, Spirit Dragon.
It's just Ugin the Spirit Dragon. That's it.
Get one of those out of the way, and how about a lethal attack?
Yeah, that's fine.
Put Riley Hicks out of their misery. Julian Felix Flury gonna win that game.
I'm tired. I'm tired of being mad.
Well, the good news, Todd, is that you're not playing in this tournament. Of course, the bad news is if you were playing in this tournament, you'd probably be able to take a nap by now.
Because I'd be O2 or...
I'm just saying, man. I don't want you registering the Omnath deck.
You're right. I could have. So I played one event like this, one of the SCG Tour online events about 2 weeks ago, and I stayed up all night because it started too early, which is why I always go second here whenever we do the caster roundtable. Mm-hmm. I stayed up all night because the tournament starts at 7 a.m. and I can't wait. I cannot wake up before 6 a.m. and be functional, or it's very hard to do for me. So I stayed up all night, and I was gonna register Sultai. I was gonna register just like stock Sultai removal, Ether Gust, Uro, stuff like that, and I was gonna stream it. And then I thought, no one wants to watch me do that, and so instead of that, I streamed. I built like it was historic. I think I'm done. It doesn't matter. We got a game to win.
I was getting into that story.
Were you? Though,
well,
I feel like you were about to cut me off and be like, let's get back to the match because this story sucks.
The thing about the story, it's very long, and I have yet to get any payoff.
Okay,
so
I was gonna play a stock good deck, and instead I chose to play a fun deck, and I got destroyed. And I was done streaming in an hour and a half, and it ruined my sleep schedule. Okay, it was horrible, and I hated every second of it.
We're so close to the payoff. See, now I'm satisfied.
Right, but the game started, and I have this thing. I don't like talking while the game's going, except when it's boring. But this is important. This is a big deal.
Catch up to speed. So Hicks has the turn 2 Lucky Clover. We see Fertile Footsteps. We find some lands. Flurry had a Lotus Cobra. Stomp takes care of that. Puts 2 points upstairs. Flurry not accelerating the mana just yet. Just land drops 1, 2, 3. Back to Hicks. We see a second Lucky Clover. Maybe a shot at a third this turn. This one's negated. Might also see Bone Crusher Giant here.
Lucky Clover is truly the bitter blossom of our time.
Is that the comparison?
I don't know. Probably should be. Does the deck operate so fundamentally differently when it has it versus not? And the deck is just not very good without it. And
you probably can't in the mirror if they have it and you don't.
Right. Beanstalk Giant specifically with one Lucky Clover is incredible.
Yeah, it's so especially with the lands entering untapped the Footsteps.
Right, because most time it allows you to play another adventure card, like a Brazen Bar Petty Theft or another Stomp from Bone Crusher Giant.
Just land number 4 for Flurry. Bone Crusher Giant goes to work. Flurry to 14. Interesting. Hicks plays the Triumph there, getting up to Beanstalk Giant mana. That'll have to wait till next turn, though.
It's much harder to commentate the games when we can't see the opponent's hand. The time shifted matches, we just have the one perspective to bring y'all. But as far as like what's happening on screen, Riley Hicks's deck this round operating on all cylinders. But what you're seeing is kind of what I see the problem to be pretty often is that if your opponent's not putting permanents onto the battlefield, it's very hard to get a lot of value out of Lucky Clover outside of Beanstalk Giant. And with one of those already being Fertile Footsteps being cast and no payoffs being found just yet, we're not really seeing the Clover dominate very much. And that's why you're seeing even the Brazen Bar being hard cast from hand, because it's just better to get more pressure on the table and put a 2-turn clock on Julian.
And Borrower shows up. You see Wilt on the Clover and Spikefield Hazard on the Borrower. Just a land off the top for Hicks, but that Beanstalk Giant is castable as the Bone Crusher Giant puts Flury to 10.
Yep, and this is also going to present a lethal attack, though that can change in a hurry. We know the explosive nature of this Omnath deck. It can go from 0 to 100 at a moment's notice thanks to Lotus Cobra and Omnath jittering mana the turn they enter the battlefield.
Fabled Passage finds plains. That's white mana. That means it's Omnath time. Here's the land for turn. Here's a Lotus Cobra. Pass back. Petty Theft off the top.
Yeah. Oh no, he's short now because oh man, the 4 life gain. The 4 life gain from Uro just being just such a pain in the butt. But this Brazen Bar is going to be able to bounce Omnath and Lotus Cobra, and a swing for 12 is going to put Julian all the way down to 2 life. And that's going to allow potentially Brazen Bar to get in for lethal next turn unless Julian has an answer.
Yeah, double bounce. Hit you for 12. Flurry to 2. Brazen Borrower on deck. Looking for a big turn for Flurry. We know about a Cobra and an Omnath. 3 unknowns to go with them. Let's make a 4th as Omnath will cantrip.
What if they banned like 5 cards? What if they just tried to reset standard enough that Party was a good mechanic?
Yo, real talk.
Real talk.
Party is the most immediately fun and resonant mechanic that has been printed since I started playing Magic.
That's awesome. I've heard so many people come in my chat and talk about Party and stuff like that and making jokes about Party and stuff, and I don't get it because I don't play Limited, and I guess it's just like a thing that is happening a lot with the Limited streamers.
When I draft this set, there's like a really good kicker deck. It's a blue-red spells deck. You know me. Mm-hmm. Anyone that's interacting with any of my content, I'd be into that. No, I literally am looking to fill out my party in every draft.
Awesome. And it's such a cool mechanic, but it's so hard to get 4 creatures on the battlefield, you know? To do it's hard enough to get like more than 2 creatures on the battlefield, but like having all the payoffs just be these like self-contained things is really interesting, you know? Like the red wizard that makes mana for a number of party members already makes 1 mana because of itself. Like I love that kind of mechanic. Things that get better as you go instead of just having these like if you assemble Exodia, you win the game.
And like Lotus Cobra is not even a rogue. There's nothing in that for anybody.
Just burn it, man. Just rip it. Just tear it to shreds. Get it out of here, man. Lotus Cobra is gonna get banned at some point too. Like it's just oh man.
Right, so I
love Real Talk Ryan. Honestly, I love Real Talk Ryan.
We got a Clover and we got 2 Cobras. Who do you think's favorite here, Todd?
Clover versus 2 Cobras. I'm going to go with the person with all the ramp and the opponent not having any interaction. Going to go with the ramp guy.
Here's an Omnath. Here's a Jam for 4. No big follow-up just yet, but this is that Clippy turn you're talking about. I see you're going to let your opponent untap with an Omnath.
Yeah, Clippy. Clippy for it. Clippy! No! Don't let him do it! Clippy, just like, please, for the love of God! Don't let them untap with an Omnath. That's gonna be bad.
Plan for next turn. Granted finds Storm's Wrath. The question is, are we going to get there? Yeah. What's this next turn?
You won't get another turn because that's untapping with Omnath is game over every time.
Got 5 cards in the grip for Flurry. We'll start with the land. 2 Cobra triggers. Gain 4 life off the Omnath.
Maybe there's 4 Debtors in hand. Maybe it's 4 Genesis Ultimatums, and they don't have enough mana this turn to cast Genesis Ultimatum.
See white mana made off the Cobra here. Kind of reads like an Omnath.
Yeah, a second Omnath or maybe a Feldar Retreat, maybe a Kinrith. Okay.
Or it's the easiest thing to clip, and we're casting Escape to the Wilds, but that plays.
And we hit Evolving Wilds, so we get all the triggers from Omnath, and we get to do everything!
Oh, baby.
Oh, Evolving Wilds lets them cast the Ugin, dude. Oh my god, this is so stupid!
This is a party that I wouldn't go to.
Yeah, I would stay home. And I do not blame people who are staying home these days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't leave the house much, but I don't think that's the point you were.
Oh, that's what I was going. I mean, I was a twofer on that one.
I love a good 2-for-1. Love a good 2-for-1. So here's Evolving Wilds. Casual 6 mana. 2 more on the way when we crack it. 6 plus 2 is 8. And how about you take 4 from Omnath, and how about Ugin finishes the game? Or double Spikefield Hazard. Sure, yeah, we got him.
Spit in the face. Double Spikefield Hazard kill. Your deck is trash. Get out of my format. Get out of my format.